Welcome to my live stream today. Today I'm going to sketch this photo that I have right here. It's a photo of a door. It's a photo I've taken in San Miguel de Allende. This is a town in San Miguel de Allende. This is a town in central Mexico. It's a colonial town. And I'm going to be sketching on this paper. This is vellum paper. And I started making a background for an abstract and decided that I'm not going to use it, I'm not going to continue, and I'm going to use it as a background for my sketch today. The materials I'm going to use are this paper. So this is sketching paper, vellum, from a sketchbook, and this photo. And I'm gonna use a Sharpie, and this is a fine point Sharpie, and pen that it's this is Pelican, but it can be a big, it can be any kind of regular pen that you take notes with. And this is the Sharpie. I also have here an ultra fine point Sharpie. So maybe I'm gonna use it or maybe not. So those are my supplies. And anytime I start with a new subject, with a sketching subject, when I sketch outdoors or when I sketch in studio like I am sketching right now, I like to take a look at my subject and understand the shapes that are forming my subject. So I consider sketching a door as being one of the easiest urban sketching subjects or a window that a beginner can choose. And this one, at the first place, you might say, oh, it's kind of complicated. But I'm going to show you how I look at it to actually say, this is an easy subject actually. So any door, it's a rectangle, right? So here we have a big rectangle. Then we have another rectangle here, and the top of the rectangle is being curved a little bit. And here it has a mantle, and the mantle is just another series of rectangles. The street is in an angle, and when I sketch, and if I want to really represent the city, I'm gonna represent this angle. And here I have two buildings. So pretty much this is a straight line, and this is a big rectangle, this is another rectangle. So if I learn how to look at these elements of a subject, then it's going to be so much easier to sketch pretty much anything. So I'm going to start by indicating my street. So I'm going to put a line here in an angle, and I am going to say, okay, so I have two buildings and I want to show that I have two buildings, and I'm gonna put a straight line down. Notice that I am not using a pencil. I prefer to show my lines, my discovery lines here. So another thing I can do, I can say, okay, so let's see what are the proportions of this rectangle. And I can say, okay, so if this is the width, the height is about 1 3/4. So that way I'm gonna start with a correct proportion of my door. if I am outside or even if I am here in studio sketching, I am estimating this. I am not, it's not a drawing. So at some point I'm going to do a video where I'm going to explain the difference between sketching and drawing. So if I make a mistake or if I am not sure of where the line, if I look at what I've done and I consider that the line is in the wrong place, I will just go over it and correct it. Here I have a step, so I'm going to put a step here and I'm going to use this line, this thing that happened in the background, and by coincidence I'm going to decide, okay, I'm going to use it because in the end it's going to look like I have intentionally put the color in that location. Here I have a sign, so I can say, okay, so this is about the center of the door. So I'm gonna put my sign, and if this is the center of the door, I'm gonna just curve these lines this way. What else? Here I have a sign, and I can look at the relationship between this corner and the corner of the sign. So the sign starts a little bit higher than this corner. And most of the time I am estimating things. I'm not measuring. But if I am out in the street and I am sketching this, then I would first of all take about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as I need to get myself familiar with the shapes and the relationship between them. So now I have a balcony here, and this piece of the balcony is somewhere in the middle here. And this other one, it's actually a line. So it's not totally centered over the door, the balcony. So that's fine. I like to respect these things because it's actually a characteristic of Mexico. Things are not perfect, so it's a great place to start sketching from a reference that you maybe if you visited Mexico, you have taken photos yourself, or maybe you can find some on the internet. If you find this helpful so far, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and this is gonna show the YouTube algorithm that it's worthwhile bringing it up for other sketchers who are looking for help or inspiration. Now, because this paper I started preparing for an abstract, I have some oil pastel here and acrylic. So it's if I would prepare the paper especially for sketching on it, I will only use acrylic or watercolor because right now this oil pastel it's clogging my marker. So what else I have here? Here I have the division between the two buildings, and in the other side I have a door that I think I'm not gonna represent because I would have to draw right here over this oil pastel, and I know it's gonna be good for my marker. If you are a sketcher and you have some experience with sketching, I would appreciate if you leave me a note and let me know if you found something helpful here. If you are a beginner, also to let me know if any of my suggestions are helpful to you. I am planning in doing another demonstration where I am showing you the very fundamentals of sketching, how to practice your first lines and shapes. And if you are interested in that, again, I would appreciate if you leave me a note below and let me know if you would be interested in such a live demonstration. I also want to let you know that I do give classes on Zoom. I no longer teach in person. I think nowadays it's just safer this way to keep our lessons and demonstrations um, on the internet. Also, this way it's being open to a greater number of people that can enjoy it. The classes I offer are private classes, and we can schedule a time that is convenient for both of us. I um, give one session classes and 5 session classes where we can meet for 1 hour um, on Zoom and look at your level of experience, look at where you are and where you need to improve. I want to let you know that I do this live demonstrations 3 times a week. It's Saturday, it's acrylic painting. Monday, it's watercolor, and today, Wednesday, it's sketching. So what I'm gonna do here, I want to show some of the shadow. And I am representing the shadow by doing lines at a 45-degree angle. And this is something that I learned when I was in architecture school, and somehow it stayed with me over the years, and I always go back to these diagonal lines to represent shadow. If I am unsure where the shadow is, I can draw a line. I can draw a very light line with my pen to give me a guideline of where the shadow goes. Here is a step So I started with a big rectangle, then I added the smaller rectangles, and as the third layer I added the smaller details, the smaller rectangles. So I'm always starting from the large to small. That's absolutely the easiest way to build your sketch. So even if I'm sketching, let's say, a whole street corner, first I will put the big shapes and then build in from there to the small shapes. Now I'm adding some of the details on the door, on those panels, and this is just a suggestion. I am really not trying to copy the intricate detail that is here. Here it says joyería, which means jewelry store. So again, here maybe I'm gonna just represent, give it a little rendering here so it shows that it's different from what is going on here in this part of the building. If I can use some of the color, if I can incorporate it in some way in the sketch, I will. I guess right now in this moment I didn't find really, probably I can do this. I can, for example, because I have this or pink, I can put some divisions in the stone, and many times this division in the stones don't really coincide from one side to the other. Things are totally asymmetrical in Mexico. It is buildings, doors, windows, they don't really center, and this is an old stone frame that this door has, so it's being painted in many colors and in many ways. So it's nothing perfect about it. Sometimes it's hard to accept that if you live in, I don't know, the States, the United States, or Canada, or I don't know, London. Or it's a little different, no? So here I'm just adding some of the characteristic of this step of the sidewalk, and one characteristic in San Miguel is that these are huge, the step, and you do need to be careful when you step off the curb because they're very high, and sometimes here they have another area where the water flow, so it's very easy to fall. Actually, San Miguel de Allende, it's called the city of the fallen women, because while you live there or visit, it's just a matter of time if you're gonna fall or not. Here is a texture in the wall, so maybe I'm just gonna add a little dots here and there like this, just to represent a little more of this texture and to create contrast. So I have a contrast between the way I am representing certain elements of this wall, door, and sign. So I think it's pretty much I'm done. Thank you for watching. If you find this helpful, I will appreciate so much if you give the video a like and if you subscribe. Hope to see you next time.